Hi, I'm Krista Numbers. This evening on our Utah Success Stories, we are joined by Manuel Romero. Manuel, you have had such a robust career in military service, education, community service, and now to add to that, you have written this book, Me America, which is what we're going to talk about in this interview. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this book and what the readers can learn from reading it?
Krista, what you'll find is our story is long, it is complex, controversial, and inspiring. You'll find that the stories in this have not really been told in the history books or even in Hollywood.
And we're talking about 450 years worth of history in this book. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, I was able to do this research, and thanks to the LDS Family Research Center, documents from the Spanish government and from the Catholic Church, they're becoming more available. So we're able to look at this history that has not been told. So there's a few reasons why it has not been told, and that's only one of them. But I first became inspired, or at least thinking about this, when the television series Roots came out on ABC over 40 years ago. Alex Haley's Roots, and I watched this, and I knew we too had a story to tell, and that kind of really got me thinking. But it was not until I went to college when Chicano studies, Mexican American studies began to be introduced into the college curriculum, and our history began to be taught. Did I learn more and more about our family, our ancestors, just not only how far back, but how interesting it is. The story was the research that, as I kept going, I became more frustrated, thinking, why hasn't this been told before? But at the same time, I became more inspired and continued to research and continued to write. And this is the finished product.
And that's what you mean when you say this isn't the story that you hear in Hollywood or in the textbooks in the classroom, which you've taught over the years, correct?
Correct.
This story is so much deeper than that. Can you share with us just a glimpse of one of your favorite stories in this book?
Sure. One of my favorite stories is my mother's fifth grandfather. His name was Roque Madrid. His grandfather was one of the first people to come in 1600 into New Mexico and help settle that.
Wow.
And this Roque Madrid, he was a sergeant major in the Spanish Army, came in 1692 into New Mexico, and as it turns out, he was a diplomat. He spoke several languages. He did a lot of treaties with the Indians, with the Pueblo Indians, the Navajos. He was, you might say, our Davy Crockett.
What an amazing story to tell. And this book, I know, is filled with so many amazing stories just like that. Now, obviously, we don't all have the same family history
Correct.
or the same stories to tell, but we all have a story. So what makes this book and your story relatable to anybody who reads it?
Well, American history it's neither black or white, but it's dozens of shades of gray. So this is just one of those stories, and America is made up of such diversity, and what really brings us together are our shared stories.
I love that. It's so true. Now, when I was reading through the book, there was a part that jumped out at me, and I'm going to ask you to read that if you would, to share that, just to get a glimpse of the way the book is written and what we can expect.
Absolutely.
So I've underlined a passage here, if you wouldn't mind.
I hope this book will leave its readers with a better understanding of who we are. For too long, our history has been ignored by historians and politicians. So much has been left on the table, not because no one wanted to consume it, but because so few had written about it. As we discover more about our ancestors and our history, we find so much to be proud of and thankful for.
Thank you, Manuel. Thank you for sharing your story. With an episode of the Success Stories, I'm Krista Numbers, and I am inviting you to purchase this book and read it for yourself. You can find it on Amazon. You can also find it on your website,
meamerica2020.com,
where I know that you can learn so much more about Manuel and the great stories that he has to tell.